Okay, so hi everyone. We are live. We are finally live on YouTube. So all of you are on YouTube right now. My name is Christian from AI4IMPACT, and with me here is Jeremy from NLB, Arnold from Terra AI as well. We'll be giving you the first lesson about chatbot, and yeah, really looking forward to meet everyone. It's really a windy day today. It's 26 degree. So let me just give me a moment just to fix my curtain. Yeah. Okay. So welcome to LearnX community. This community is actually is a collaboration between like AI for Impact and NLB, but particularly on the chatbot LC. So without further ado, I think the program outline today will start by introducing what the LearnX community is about, and with me today is Jeremy, who will be sharing with you about the program itself. So if you have any questions, like just post it on the on YouTube chat. We actually will discuss also some of the most frequently asked questions on the pigeonhole that we shared. So don't worry about it. Everyone has a chance to ask questions. Jeremy, I think time is yours. So yeah, please do.
Thanks. Thank you very much, Christian. So hi, I'm Jeremy. I'm a librarian at NLB. So thank you so much for coming to this year's Chatbot for Non-Programmers Bootcamp launch. So this is a collaboration between NLB and AI4IMPACT under our Chatbot LearnX community. And in this LearnX community, approximately twice a year, AI4IMPACT works with NLB to conduct these really enriching bootcamps. And we are in our fourth run this year. In the past sessions, we've seen some really creative chatbots by participants. So for example, chatbots that point to the best hawker food, or walking tours of Chinatown, or recommending the most fun playgrounds in a given area. This year, our theme is actually support local, and we are pleased to bring in 3 sustainability-related companies. So these are Chop Value SG, Urban Origins, and Confetti Snacks. And they'll be providing real-world business problems and really exciting project ideas. So representatives from Urban Origins and Confetti Snacks are here today to share as well. So they'll be sharing shortly lah. But before we jump in, I also like to share with you that this video will be made available on YouTube after this session. So don't worry if you need to revisit some points in this session, right? Maybe you missed something. You can always jump back in lah. If you have any questions, please type them into the YouTube live chat box. Or you also need to log into YouTube or Google to use this chat box feature lah. So you can ask questions in the pigeonhole link as well. So the pigeonhole link is on the right over here. You can scan the QR code if you're using your phone. And yeah, so just access this and you can join our Telegram group on the left. Okay, so moving on, I also like to share a little about NLB's e-resources. So the NLB app is an amazing resource that opens you to a wide variety of information and knowledge. And many of you here might be here to learn about digital skills in your various and in ways to enhance your various business functions. So we've also created a couple of titles here specifically for you. So whether it is to understand the role of chatbots in your work, or maybe digital transformation as a whole, these are great reads to really get you going. And you can borrow these ebooks via the NLB app by scanning this QR code. So if you're still deciding, not to worry, you can just revisit this video later as well lah. And come back to this slide and scan the QR code when it's convenient. And through this bootcamp, because we are working with sustainability-related companies, you may find that the problem statements might be sustainability heavy. So if you need a bit more introductory information on this topic, or you get an itch, so consider these titles on upcycling or sustainable living. So these are great introductions. And one resource that I really like is the resource on the left, the upcycle. So this is a get abstract summary, which summarizes business books for readers who want a quick introduction. So if you're short on time, need an overview within 10 to 15 minutes, consider this read. So today, we have Christian and Arnold as well from AI4IMPACT. AI4IMPACT is a learning group which aims to make AI accessible to everyone, including non-programmers. Christian is a business development executive at Terra AI and a facilitator at AI4IMPACT. Arnold is the head of artificial intelligence and the CEO at Terra AI. And Christian and Arnold are the chatbot experts who have led many such bootcamps and mentored many participants across various walks of life to develop useful and functional chatbots. So you can really be assured that you're in good hands in this bootcamp. I strongly encourage everyone to stay through the 4 to 5 weeks to get the full learning experience and to create wonderful chatbots. And we're so excited to see what you will come up with. So just to share also that the top chatbots will have the opportunity to be featured in our library branches. So we will be showing them around. And also just an additional point, please do consider using copyright-free images. So I've also sent some in the email before this launch itself. So speaking of the email, if you did not receive any emails beforehand, whether regarding any access codes from myself, you can scan this QR code and drop your email here. So I will be following up with you after this. So without further ado, let me hand the time back to Christian to kick us off with introducing what the bootcamp will be all about. Christian, back to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Jeremy. So I think before we explain a bit more about the challenges and the program outline, I think allow me to actually give the time to Arnold, who is also a CEO of Terra AI, who will be actually mentoring you throughout the 4 weeks, just to give a little bit about background about what this bootcamp is about, and what will you learn along the way. Arnold, time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Chris. And hi, guys. Just give me a second to share my screen. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so my name is Arnold, by the way, and I will be your trainer for the next, 3 or 4 weeks. And I hope that, you not just learn about chatbots, you get new friends, you learn about programming, and you learn about design as well, and about, about users, right? So later on, we'll have 2 of the companies involved actually talking about what they do and so on, right? And so you get to know about your users as well. So the first question, of course, all of you might be asking is, what on earth is a chatbot? Well, a concise explanation is that it is simply a digital application, an interactive digital application that is designed to educate, to entertain, to inspire, and to inform. Okay, so it's a bit of a mouthful, but what it means is that it is a kind of application where people can come in, they can learn, they can have fun, they can get something new, they can change their mind. It's an opportunity for you to change their mindsets. So right now, for the topic that we are discussing is on sustainability. Many people are not aware of what it means. They might have heard the buzzwords. In a school or in university, you might get the buzzwords, but they don't really understand what does it mean for them on a practical day-to-day basis. And this is really something that your chatbot can actually help with. So how you present the topics actually is important in the chatbot, right? You can use images, sounds, musics to engage your viewers, right? And of course, you need to choreograph the conversation flow. So the choreographing of the conversation flow is very important as well, to make it entertaining, informative, right? And not tedious, right? So this is what we are aiming for this course. But of course, and you can see nothing technical here. It's mainly design, right? So to make a good chatbot, honestly, it's mainly about good design, good ideas, creativity, right? Because you're looking to educate, to entertain, you need to engage someone. Of course, there will be technical aspects of it. And that is what I will be teaching you guys. And hopefully we'll also do give you some feedback on your own chatbots so that you can actually gauge, is this entertaining? Is this interesting, right? And we'll give you suggestions as well, okay, as the weeks progress. Okay, so first of all, let me also give you a brief overview of the various chatbot technologies, okay? So there are menu-driven chatbots, which I'm sure a lot of you have seen, and perhaps what you might not have seen are like things like template matching, syntax parsing, similarity matching, and of course, latest of all would be deep learning using transformers. So I'll just give you a quick overview of what these things are, what their pros and cons are. So menu-driven chatbots are the simplest. You know, the user presses a button or maybe presses an icon, and the chatbot just responds accordingly. Okay, very simple idea. So these kinds of chatbots are very easy to build, and they can be very effective as well. So easy and good, right? It's a good combination, right? They are effective because they limit the amount of choices that the user can have, right? Either A, B, or C, or D, or F, depending on the menu that you have, right? And this also means that it's easier for the user to input what they want into the chatbot. But the drawback, of course, is what if the user's input is not on the menu? Then, of course, you get some problems, right? So there are big limitations to menu-driven chatbots. And that is why people have quickly moved away from those things and moved into things like template matching. So what is template matching? It's a little more complicated. So let's say, for example, someone says, you know, do you have apples? Or what is the cost of 5 oranges? Okay. So the idea is that the chatbot would, you know, scan the sentence for some keywords, right? And then respond accordingly to those keywords, right? So in this case, the person asked, do you sell apples, or you know, what's the cost of 5 oranges? And the chatbot responds. So it's a little harder to build compared to a pure menu-driven type chatbot, but it can handle much more flexible. It's much more flexible in handling user input or user responses. But the problem, of course, is that all the responses of your chatbot has to be anticipated in advance. Okay, and you can frequently end up with, you know, a situation where your chatbot cannot handle the situation. So it says, you know, I don't know, right? Or IDK, right? So a simple example of this in action is, let's say someone types in your chatbot, do you sell apples? And there's a template which matches this, okay? For example, in this case, the template denoted by the Q with a colon there, it's scanning the sentence for the word sell, followed by a fruit and with the letter S, okay? So in this case, let's say it's a match, since it's sell apples, that's the match. Then of course the chatbot responds with, yes, we do sell apples. So the $ fruit is a bit of programming there, right? And it denotes a type, okay, which you need to define in your chatbot. So for example, a type could be, you know, apple, orange, banana, and then of course you'd add the S there for the plural form. Now, I'm just giving this as an overview. Don't worry too much about it. It's confusing, because the exercises that we have will go into painful detail, step by step. All right, but I just want to give you an overview so you don't get, you know the lay of the land without getting lost. Okay, but essentially the idea, the takeaway for this is that you are going to write in template matching some kind of matching a sequence that can match parts of a sentence, so that you can actually produce the response. Okay, so the first part, the Q part, is called the template, all right, because it's a template in which you're going to check, and the A part is called the chatbot's response. So all chatbots are like that. It's a matching of some kind and a response of some kind for most of the techniques that I listed just now. Another example, more complicated. Let's say the person asks, you know, what is the cost of 5 oranges? So in this case, 5 could be 25, 50, 60, the number could change, right? So the template matching formula ought to be a bit different as well. And I will show you also later on as you progress in the lessons, how to actually match these things. So if you want to break it down here, for example, for those of you who are programmatically inclined, the Q, which is a template match, will first match for an integer, followed by a fruit with the letter S, okay? And the response is just a number like 5. The $F is the fruit that's involved, like oranges. And then the parts in red are basically a calculation to calculate, you know, what is the cost of 5 oranges. And of course, the chatbot will respond finally to the user, you know, 5 oranges cost $5.30. Okay. So I know it looks a little complicated, but honestly, as you get used to it, it should be straightforward. Okay, nothing too difficult. So the $n with the int there shows the integer match. It's called a reference, right? And then the parts in red there are actually a calculation that's run to calculate the cost of 5 oranges, right? The important takeaway here that you can know is that these rules for templates usually have a template portion, which does the matching, and then a response portion, which does the response of the chatbot back to the user. Okay. All right. So now we go on to syntax parsing. Well, this is very much like the template matching idea. The idea still is that you're looking at the sentence, and then you're looking at maybe breaking down the sentence into parts of speech, right? So let's say, for example, is there a verb there, a noun there? So the syntax parser will actually annotate the sentence with whether it's a noun or a verb and stuff like that, right? And this is actually pretty complicated, okay? But you can make chatbots which can understand much more complex sentences compared to simple template matching. The downside is that it's actually very hard to program, and that's why we don't really advocate or teach this. I'll give you an example of an amazing chatbot which is done in the 1970s, and in fact, it's world famous. It's called Shradlu, and it's from the 1970s by this guy called Terry Vinograd. And I'll give you a link here with a QR code. I strongly suggest you go and check out what this chatbot could do even in the 1970s. It's pretty amazing and mind-blowing. Yeah. Okay, we'll move on to similarity matching. So now, the idea behind similarity matching is, can I find a response in my database which is similar to the person's question? Like, let's say the person says, do you sell apples? Okay, and I have a database of 2 sentences in this case, very small database, right? The first sentence is, we sell oranges only before Chinese New Year. The second sentence is, we sell apples, which are wonderful. So obviously, this is our database. And you can see clearly that the second sentence actually matches the question more closely compared to the first question. So the first question shares the word sell, but it doesn't have anything else in common with the user's question. But the second sentence has got sell and apples, and so the system does a match for that. Okay, so you can see where this can go wrong. If the sentence, for example, it says, you know, we do not sell apples, then sell and apples still match. Okay, so of course you won't get that similarity match. So more sophisticated similarity match systems would actually include nots and so on. But basically behind the scenes, that's what they do. But that's what they're doing. They're finding answers in a database which are similar to the user's question or input, right? So this kind of stuff is actually not that hard to program, actually pretty easy to program. So once the engine is done, it's written already, to add new sentences and to add stuff to the chatbot, is just add the sentence and it just works out of it straight away. So it's even easier compared to a menu-driven, or let's say a template matching or cross syntax parsing. All right. But the problem is that the responses could be wrong. It could be misleading. It could be the wrong thing, right? That it sends off because, you know, sentences are complex. Okay. And of course, it's limited to responses that are in the database. The good part, of course, is that it always will give a response, because there will always be one sentence at the very least, which matches, or you can say, look, you can detect when the sentence is not in the response is not in your database. Okay, so far we have looked at 4 different techniques, and these are the traditional approaches for the last, I would say, the last 40 years. But recently, of course, we've got a huge change, and that is deep learning. Okay, and deep learning is basically a technique to train something called neural networks. Okay, so neural networks are basically computer simulations, or the very, very simplified computer simulations of the cells in your brain. Okay, very, very simplified is the key word. Okay, and more recently, people have discovered, in fact, this was from Google. They published a paper called "Attention is All You Need," where they describe something called a transformer. Okay, and these transformers are extremely useful when it comes to processing textual information, like what our chatbots are going to do. Okay, so transformers are a special kind of neural network, and you need to feed them in order to make them effective enough to answer open-ended questions, right? You need to feed them with vast amounts of text, which people have done, right? And the idea is that the transformer is trained to correctly guess the next word in a sentence. I'll come to that shortly, so you can see an example of what's being done. Okay, so the idea is that a sentence is broken into tokens, which is basically words. Okay, and the idea is to guess the next token in sentence. For example, if I say how, and then I give you are, and I ask you to guess the next token, what's your guess? It wouldn't be how are dog, okay? It won't be how are we. Well, it could be how are we, but it's most likely how are you, okay? And the longer the context that you have, right, the more likely you'll be able to guess that question mark, that missing token, based on the previous tokens that you've already seen. So that's the idea behind the transformer, okay? And this seemingly simple idea, so the transformer itself, to be honest, is not complicated, all right? If you have even a reasonable amount of programming experience, you can probably program a transformer yourself. You can DIY it. So the mechanics of the algorithm is actually fairly straightforward, okay? The amazing thing is that training a transformer, so a transformer has got many tunable parameters, and so it's been fed all this text, and each time it's fed a text, it's given a missing word, which is like in this case, like how are, you know, and asked to guess the next word. And just by doing that, it's amazing what happens, right? So we've seen that, I'm sure you have played with ChatGPT or heard of at least of GPT-3 and so on from OpenAI. And of course, there are other products from Google and Meta and so on, right? And these are amazing pieces of software, right? So they've trained these massive, large transformers, okay, with many neurons or memory cells. And the cost of training is very high. It costs millions, like tens of millions of dollars to actually train these transformers, right? So it's easy to write, easy to do stuff, but it's very hard to train, right? A famous transformer is GPT-3, which is released by OpenAI. It's a popular model, and the good thing about GPT-3 is that the OpenAI have made it publicly available or accessible, so you can actually register for an account, all right, and it's available for public use for free for now, at least, okay. And it's also free for use through an API. Don't worry about, if you don't know what an API is, it's basically a way for you to write chatbots that you can actually call somehow in a magic way and communicate with GPT to give you an answer. Okay, so we'll be looking at that also in the course of the coming weeks. So the wonderful thing about GPT-3 or these is that the answers can often be human-like, but the answers can also be wrong. So your task, of course, is to try and see how can you overcome these limitations? How can you effectively use the facilities that are being made available by OpenAI's GPT-3? Okay. So I've given you a link here for the ChatGPT-3, and I'd like you to apply for an account, right? So it's free, but you need to have the account in order for you to create chatbots, if you want to create chatbots, which link to GPT-3. Okay, so I hope you've got a clear overview of what chatbots are, you know, what technologies are involved, right? So I'm not coming here to what are our goals for this program. Well, the first goal, my first goal, is to get you first to a place where you can create simple menu-driven and also template-based chatbots. Okay, and second, we will also take you to a place where you can learn how to take advantage of GPT-3 using something called prompt engineering, so that you can see add that capability into a chatbot. But of course, I need to warn you, it needs an OpenAI account, which you can apply for. I've sent you the link just now, so go and get yourself registered with them. Thirdly, your chatbots need to understand how they are being used, right? So any chatbot that's worth its salt will also be able to tell you, are users interested in this or that, where they're going in your chatbot, right? So a good chatbot has got many different sections inside its internal bits. And you want to know where your users are going so that you can then, optimize it. You can clean it up, maybe make it more attractive, right? And to give you feedback on, say, for example, when it comes to sustainability, maybe people are interested in understanding what sustainability is, or maybe applying sustainability, and you want to understand where are they going, right? So that is called user analytics, and I'll show you how to do that as well in the coming weeks. Now, I also have got other extra material planned as well. It's extra and it's planned. So I'm not sure if we have the time for it or you have got the bandwidth for that. But I will also add, I hope to add 2 other things, which is how can you add viral marketing features so that your chatbot can be spread and shared effectively, right, through the public, okay? And how do you actually store data on your chatbot as well? So you can store and retrieve data so that it becomes actually more customizable and actually more usable as well, okay? So it's not just about the chatbot technologies, it's really what goes around it as well to make it useful to the public and to your users, right? And I need to warn you also, there is homework after every session. So after today's session, also there will be homework, and you need to complete this or, face the consequences, right? Because homework will pile up, and if you don't finish the homework, it'll be very hard for you to catch up later on. Because some stuff is technical, all the stuff is technical, sorry. All of it is technical, and it's not super hard though, okay? It's not super hard, but it's very hands-on, so you've got to listen to the videos, you've got to try it out, and if you're confused, which is inevitable, all right, you need to ask questions in the Telegram group, and then we'll try and answer it. And I'll collect some of maybe the more difficult questions or recurring questions, and I'll also use the session, the Q&A set. I mean the weekend sessions to have Q&A to answer your questions. Okay, so please complete the homework, and I'll give them the homework after every session, step by step, for you. Okay, so what are the sessions where we got the live sessions, like on the Saturdays, 3 to 5 p.m. every Saturday? So please attend the Zoom links if you can, and ask questions on the Q&A in the YouTube chat. There will also be recorded sessions because we don't have enough Saturdays to fill everything in. So I will report some sessions just for you guys. Session 1, which is today, will have, of course, this is the intro, and I'll also show you a demo as well of the features of the platform that will be used, which is Smojo AI, built by us. Okay, so I'll show you how to use it and how to register, etc. Right, all the nitty-gritty details, right? And we'll have the first recorded session on how to store data in your chatbots. The second live session will be on user analytics and analytics reporting. How do you get insights into what your chatbot is doing, how your users are using your chatbot? Those insights are very important for you to be able to fix your chatbots or to improve them. I will also have maybe a recorded session on viral marketing and perhaps, creating these links and other stuff, right? Session 3, which is live, I will finally do the ChatGPT 3 API, okay? How do you get the API? How do you link it? And how do you link all that into your chatbot? And how do you improve the output of ChatGPT 3 using prompt engineering? So we'll go through that as well. So it's a full, I would say it's pretty packed, okay? All right. So there will be time again for Q&A for all your sessions, for all the sessions. So please come prepared with questions. And I may add materials or remove them or change them depending on your feedback. So this is very dynamic as well for us. We have a rough idea, we have some planned materials already, but we always make it customizable in response to how you guys are doing. If it's too difficult, we might tone it down a bit. If it's too easy, we might give you more stuff that you can chew on. Okay. All right. So now let's go to the demo part. And I'll cover 4 things. The first is how do you register for Smojo.ai? How can you download the learning materials? How do you access them, right? How do you access our community? We've got a community where people are creating stuff, not just chatbots, by the way. It can be games, it can be AI, it can be middleware, it can be a lot of different stuff. Okay, how do you access the community for all of this thing or all of this, and how do you use our pre-built templates just so that you can start a chatbot straight away and maybe just do some editing if you want to. Okay, so let me just stop the screen share just for a while and go to my browser. Any questions so far, by the way?
I think we'll keep the questions like Q&A at the end, because we also like to the partners to present their challenge statement as well. So we can go ahead with the demo.
Okay. So you need to log on to this thing called smojo.ai. So it's smojo.ai, not the editor. Okay, and you'll get this screen out here, right? You want to go into the sign up page. Okay, click on sign up. You need to click a username. It needs to be 5 characters or more. Give it a long enough password. Okay, a valid email address. Now, any kind of personal information here is personal. We only use it for verification purposes. And sometimes we do blast newsletters, but very rarely. Okay, let's say it's a systems upgrade, or let's say it's some changes to your account, we will use that to contact you here. Okay, but you need also something called an invitation code or an invite code. So this invitation code you should have received from an email sent by NLB. Is that NLB? Is that right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So I think some of you have already signed up. I've noticed from our logs that number of invite codes have disappeared, which is good. It's been redeemed. Okay, so if you have not received an email, or if you don't have this email or invite code for any reason, then please contact Chris. Okay, Chris will give you an invite code and will get you registered as well into the program. Okay, so you need to fill all the stuff in, go right down, agree to our terms. Our terms and conditions are fairly straightforward. You know, basically, don't do anything that's bad and illegal. Don't try and abuse other people, and we don't provide any uptime guarantees for the website. That's it. Okay, and then click on create account, and you're done. Okay, so once you create account, it will take you into a different page, which is the editor. Okay, so now I will very slowly go through this editor because you need to understand it quite well. Okay. So there are 2 panels here. This panel here is where you write your chatbot code. Okay, and there are tabs. So like in this case, I've got 1 tab open here. Okay, and here you've got to when we first go in, you have to click on login. All right, I've already logged in as this username, this dummy username here. So type in your username and type in the password that you use, and click on OK, and then it will log you in. Okay. So this is the code panel, the left-hand side, and this panel here is the output panel. Okay, so now I've logged in already. So once you have logged in, you can actually run this thing here, run script. Okay, and it gives you some output here. That shows you you're fine, you're okay, you're in the system. All right, and you can actually proceed with everything else, right? So there are 4 buttons here. I think the main button is this one here, which is the File Explorer. It tells you what files they are. So right now I've got no files and no folders. That's okay. All right. This is the save button. Those of you who are old enough will recognize this. If you're young, perhaps you might not know what this is. Be scratching your head, but this is actually a floppy disk. Okay, and it used to be the symbol for save. Right. So you don't understand what it means. There's a little, you know, a tooltip there which tells you what it's all about. Right. And this button, you will rarely use it for now. It helps you to create a new folder in the cloud. Okay, so all of this is cloud storage. It's in the cloud. And right now I've got no projects. Okay, so far so good, yeah? So you got the login button. You also have a profile button, right? So the profile button, we click it, right? It should give you a profile. You can change the image. It's already filled in some details here for me, okay? And you know, and you can put in your bio and so on. So this profile details will go into your community. So you click on community right now, you can see there are a lot of people on community. So this is my community page. Well, not mine. This is the fake one, the demo one. Okay, and you can see that there are a lot people who have posted stuff on the community. And these are all community projects done by people on our platform. And you can download their source code and try it out on your own. Okay. But I'll come to the community shortly afterwards. Okay. Before I do that, I want you to look at the learn section, because this part is pretty important for you to understand. Okay. So the learn part, you click on that, you will get several learning modules. Okay. Now you can ignore all of these for the time being. Just focus on the CU101 building chatbots. That's all. Okay. And we'll work through this for the entirety of this week. Okay. So if I click on that, it will take me to the page for this learning module, and you will see their videos, which you can see there are 8 lessons, and we estimate it will take about 6 hours to complete. All right, all at once. And there's also a download section. Okay, so that downloads the source code for this module. So if I click on download, it will say download completed. All right, and that's good. If I go back to the IDE, to the editor, this is the editor view. And if I click on the file explorer now, you'll see, you've got this CU101 thing there, okay? And it should highlight in blue once you mouse over it. If I click on this, it will open up into some code here, okay? So there's a place called lab instructions, which actually tell you, if I open this up, it explains all about this session, sorry, all about building chatbots, etc., and so on. And it's divided into several tiny sessions. And these sessions actually correspond to the videos that you can see. You go back here to the learn part. It goes back to the video session. That's session 1 for the introduction, session 2 for types and things, right? Session 3 for references and guards, etc. Okay. There are 8 sessions here. Not all of them are matched into the lab instructions. Okay, the lab instructions are just, I think, until session 3, 4, 4, I think 4 or 5. Sorry, my apologies. Section 6. Right. So there are 6 sessions here, and this is all matched for CU101. Okay. So what you should do is you should do that. You should go into the learn part. First, register, log in, go into the learn part, all right, go to CU101, hit the download button, then go back and look at the lab notes, the lab instructions, okay, lab instructions. Now, you can publish the chatbot fairly straightforwardly just by clicking on the main.m. So main.m is your main file, right, where all your code is located. Don't be worried about all this stuff. Okay, anything in purple, just FYI, anything in purple is a comment and is ignored by our system. All right, it's just FYI only, anything in purple. And don't worry about the code for right now, it's not important. All right. The important part is you learn how to publish this chatbot. Okay. So you click on publish here, right? There ought to be a button here called publish. You click on publish. Okay, something magical happens. All right, it says success. All right, if it says error, that means something is wrong and you have to fix it. All right, that's where you can ask us on the Telegram group, or you can try and figure it out yourself. Okay, and I think in session 4, we'll show you some basic debugging techniques on how you can debug these things. All right, so you can even click on test, and what test does is it takes your chatbot and it gives it some simulated Q&A. So like in this case, the test should be, it asks the chatbot, first of all, are you an idiot? Then it asks, are you silly? And then it says, do you like bananas? Okay, it is a fairly odd thing to ask a chatbot, but if you click on test, right, the chatbot will just answer, be kind, and I don't answer the question. All right. Now, if you publish it, okay, I just clicked on that already. You can click on the link here that's given out here. There's a link here. Click on that link there. You will enter your chatbot itself, and there is a space below where you can actually test and type, say, hello, right? And you'll say, I don't answer the question because it's a blank chatbot. Okay, there's nothing in there. Okay, but this is the mechanics on how you publish Chatbot. Okay, so again, what you got to do is, I'm going to repeat this. Go to Learn. Okay, go to CU101. Don't go anywhere else. Go to CU101. Okay, click on Download. Okay, you can leave this page open. Click on Download. Now, if you download already, it will say it exists. You want to overwrite. You don't want to overwrite. Okay, overwriting means it just wipes out everything. Okay, fresh start. Okay, I'll fresh start it. It should say download completed. And then, of course, you go to your videos. When you go to videos, and then you can see all the videos here one by one. And each of the videos, at least for 1 to 6, corresponds to what you find in your, if you click on CU101, lab instructions. Okay, so I hope that's perfectly clear. All right. There's also a section called templates, and these are pre-built chatbots which we have cleaned up and which we actually offer for anyone to actually download and use. Okay, I would suggest there are some in Bahasa Indonesia. All right, so these, I think these 5 here are in Bahasa Indonesia. Our system is really heavily used in Indonesia, right, in schools and so on. So you can, if you understand Bahasa, you can use these templates or try them out. There are some samples for us, like which are in English, which is the Magical Egypt Tours. There's the Bus B template, which actually uses an API to find out, how fast the bus comes to the nearest bus stop, etc. And a Find Me app, which maybe we'll discuss in one of the sessions if I have the time. And even games as well. You can actually build games with the system as well. Okay, so it's fairly easy for you to get started if you want to. Okay. All right. So now I've pretty much covered all the basics that you need to get yourself ready. The only last thing is the community. Okay, so community, again, you should bookmark my community page because it contains some templates which we will use in the course of the following weeks. And that's, so you go to search user, so you hit community there, community, right? And then you click on search user for search user Arnold. That's my first name. And that goes into my projects page, right? So these are all the projects that I've been working on and I've published over the course of a few months. The chatbot that you want to use is really the Achita English version. Okay, so we will use this chatbot as a sample also this week as well. So I want you to download this one. So you just hit download. It will download it into your system. Go download. Okay, and if you go back to where we are, you go up, it should give you 2 folders now, CU101 and a folder called Arnold. Click on Arnold, and you can see that chatbot is out there as well. Okay, so just drill right down until you see the main.m, call it up and publish. All right, if you have any questions, again, we can always answer it later. Okay, last of all, I need to give you your homework so that it's completely clear for all of you. Okay, so again, there's the CU101 building chatbots. Be sure to download it, all right, and view the videos one by one. Okay, it's too much information to swallow all at once. What I would suggest that you do is look at video 1 and then try session 1 on the lab instructions. Okay, then look at session 2 and then session 2, session 3, and so on. Okay, do it progressively. And at each time, if you don't understand anything, please ask. Okay, my only criteria for this is that you really understand sessions 1 to 3. Okay, those need to be thoroughly understood. Yeah. And if you have any questions, please ask immediately on the Telegram group. Any confusion, ask on the Telegram group. For session 5, you can actually skip associations and search because we don't really use them very much. But the MEMS part is really important. You need to know that. Okay. And if you are the Kiasu type, right, you can also view the session, view session 7 because it's fairly useful. There's also a session 8. Don't do that because we'll cover that in one of the lectures. and I'll simplify the discussion for that. Okay. And I'd like you also, of course, to download and publish and edit the Achita English from my community page. All right, my username is Arnold, ARNOLD. Okay, and then search for Achita English, download the chatbot, go to the chatbot folder and the main.m. Okay, or you can try one of the templates like the Magic Egypt Tours or any other template that you want to use. Some of the templates are fairly advanced, like the BuzzD one and the Find Me app are fairly advanced. Don't do those for this time. Okay, so pro tip, ask questions, all right? Use the Telegram to ask the questions. Okay, it's a bit messy, but we'll try and answer everyone's question. And if we do miss out anything, we can always discuss it on the weekend. Okay, so Q&A is last of all. I'll hand this session back over to Chris.
Okay, thank you so much, Arnold. I think there are a lot to choose today, but moving on, we like to actually invite the companies to actually share their problem statement. And the first company I'd like to bring out to you is Confetti Snacks. So Chin, are you here right now? Okay, are you ready to present a bit?
Yeah, I'm ready now.
All right. Okay, so Chin, I think time is yours. You can share about the company.
Okay, great. Thank you. Yeah, so my name is Jian. I'm from Confetti Snacks, and I'm just here to tell you a little bit about us. So Confetti Snacks was started here in Singapore, and we make veggie chips. So if you go to any supermarket or store where you get your groceries and you look at the snack aisle, you'll realize soon that a lot of snacks are yellow-based, like potato chips and corn-based chips. So at Confetti, we really wanted to bring color to the snack aisle with the colors of real veggies, such as red and green radishes, carrots, and okra, which all feature in our veggie chips. And so we wanted a snack that is healthy and full of fiber, also full of nutrients and vitamins from veggies. And on top of that, also prove that just because a snack is healthy doesn't mean it cannot be tasty. So we are very passionate at Confetti about two main missions, which I'll share with you. The first one is fighting food waste. So fighting food waste is a global problem that, we really want to tackle. So we do this by using imperfect produce that consumers wouldn't buy because they are too ugly, and as well as the surplus from crop harvests to create our veggie snacks. And so in this way, we are upcycling the crops and veggies that would normally just get thrown away. And secondly, we donate a portion of our proceeds to causes that help to alleviate global hunger. So many people in the world are actually starving and don't have enough food to eat. So we hope that by helping causes such as the Red Cross, we will be part of the movers and shakers that end global hunger for good. So with Confetti, we're really hoping that you guys can help us with this chatbot, and hope that with the chatbot, we can share with people about our great snacks and all the healthy benefits for our snacks, as well as the drive behind why Confetti exists in the first place. So you can check out our website to see the snacks. And if you have any other questions, I'd be happy to answer them in the Telegram group. So yeah, I think that's it. Thanks for listening.
Okay, thanks so much, Jane. See you. Okay, just I think just to give you some context, right? Because I think at the end of the day, what we want you guys to achieve is actually to learn the chatbots and then apply it immediately to solve real world problems. So in this context, like any AI for impact related bootcamps, we typically invite actual challenge statements from actual companies that has actually that has meaningful mission, with also meaningful products and services to sell to market as well. So at the end of the day, I think for us, our motto is always learn, do, impact. So that means that you learn the concepts. I think just learning the concept will not be enough. So for some of the participants who are still thinking on what kind of projects you want to develop, how can I apply the concepts learned to build actual applications? I think this is actually a great opportunity. So because I think NLB also invited us like a list of companies, and then we filtered, and then we discussed with the companies, and we select 3 companies that have a very meaningful, not just great products, but actually meaningful missions as well. So I think the objective right now is how can we utilize chatbot technology to develop some kind of like value-driven or education-driven chatbots that can promote not just promote more about sustainability, but also like to introduce good products so that your chatbots can drive business outcomes as well. So Confetti Snacks is one of our partner selected by NLB and AI4IMPACT, and we like to invite other partners such as Urban Origins. I'll explain with you later on what the program outline is about and what this learn, do, impact learning journey will come on during this bootcamp. But second of all, Susanna will actually explain to you about Urban Origins and what we hope to achieve during this bootcamp. Time is yours, Susanna.
Hi, everybody. Thanks, Chris. Can I have the rights to share screen, please?
Sure.
Right, I believe everybody can see my screen. So hi, everyone. My name is Susanna, and I'm the founder of Urban Origins. So what we really do at Urban Origins is that we are a social enterprise that curates customized sustainability and wellness engagement solutions for corporates or other organizations such as schools that want to take their engagement with their employees or students to the next level. And currently, we work with over 100 partners to bring novel, exciting, and meaningful programs to our clients depending on their needs. So in the areas of sustainability and wellness. So so far, our impact is as such. We have worked with over 40 organizations, impacted over 20,000 people, and have over 104 partners in our network of sustainability and wellness. These are just some of the companies that we have worked with. As I've mentioned, the several topics that we touched on are sustainability, health, and wellness. And what we offer are workshops, talks, pop-ups, donation drives, as well as cleanups. And these are just some examples in text instead. So for example, in sustainability, we can offer detergent making workshops using eco-enzymes, beach cleanups, whether in urban areas or even kayaking in the river. We also have learning journeys to Black Soldier Fly farms to understand their benefits, as well as we conduct textile collection drives. In the area of wellness, we can also have tea appreciation sessions for our clients. Even forest therapy, which is something very unique, is something offered by one of our partners as well. And I think one more to highlight would be, for example, journaling to de-stress, and also tips for better sleep or posture. So I think this is just really our sales deck to our clients. In fact, they can contact us at this email address. And if there's any of you here as well, if you would like to have such an experience for your own workplace or school, please also feel free to contact us. And actually, I do have a suggested outline, and we did think about what a chatbot could work, how a chatbot could work for our company. And this is just really a suggested flow. If any of you would like to work on the brief that I've just shared, you can take a screenshot of this. But basically, what we would envision is that somebody comes to our website and maybe they're concerned about something related to sustainability or wellness. And if they have an organization code, meaning if we have already sent an email to their HR, for example, they might have a code that they want to input, so we can track where is this employee from, and they can share whether they would like to explore sustainability or well-being. And the chatbot will provide answers and suggest some activities related to what they share. Maybe they say, oh, I'm very concerned about too much plastic being used in a workplace. Maybe the chatbot would suggest, for example, a plastic learning about plastic, so some introduction to plastics in Singapore as a workshop that they can try to join or suggest to their company HR, and then following that, they can also provide an email address or contact number to reach out to, or the chatbot can direct them to the inquiry form so that they can fill in more details as to what they would like to explore for their company or school. Why do we think that this is important and what we're trying to achieve from this? Basically, we know that we know of the term quiet quitting, right? And there's a lack of meaning in the workplace. We would like to sort of bring all these novel and meaningful experiences to the workplace, and we tap on our network of partners while on the ground. So we have already built a network of sustainability and mental well-being partners that we can help curate their offerings and be more targeted towards the needs of the client that we are trying to help. Also, we support the HR teams, but more often than not, we see that they are always Googling and trying to search for a meaningful activity, and they maybe have stumbling blocks because they don't really know the skills very well. And the chatbot would also increase the potential of employees suggesting such experiences to their HR teams. So we hope that the chatbot can also have a share function, for example. And also, as I said, we are trying to grow a network of partners in sustainability and mental well-being. And this would, and not just, so these offerings don't just come from us. So I've also included, just as a closing slide, I've included my number and my own email address as well as my LinkedIn. So feel free to connect with me. I'm open to receiving messages from anyone. As a small startup, we are always looking to collaborate in any way. So I thank you for listening to my pitch, and I do hope we can work together. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Susanna. I think just before we move on to the third problem statement, I just want to highlight about the priorities, right, for us to actually in terms of learning experience, right? I think number one, throughout this bootcamp, I think what we hope for you to achieve is actually to have fun learning. I know learning can be stressful sometimes because it's a new it's new territory for many of you. It was a new territory for many of our students as well. But I think how you want to make the learning more fun is to have tangible objectives and to have a very interesting problem statement as well. So if you have any ideas, if you have certain kind of passion that you like to explore in this bootcamp as well, I think you are free to do so. And with this, I think right now there are three problem statements that are interesting. What you can do is that you can actually link up your passion and turn it into business objectives as well. Like for example, right now, I think Urban Origins have a lot of meaningful HR related events that can actually provide happiness to the workplace as well. And you know that, oh, they are actually when you check the website, they're actually lots of interesting activities that Urban Origin has to allow your friends, your colleagues, your employees as well to basically be more happy at work, right? So maybe you can focus on that segment, like instilling your creativity and connecting them to a business objectives. Because ultimately, I think what we hope to achieve is on the three parts, right? Learn, do, and impact. So your creativity can be turned into an impact, and it actually helps people as well grow their businesses and also raise awareness about new exciting initiatives. So just want to give some highlight on that. Yeah. So moving on to the third problem statements. So the third, the other companies that we selected is actually Chalk Value. Unfortunately, the person in charge is not able to attend today. But after this session, we will actually share with you the Telegram group for you to interact with each company representative. So you can ask more questions. You can also verify, check some details as well, so that you are able to develop a better chatbot, or you can also share your ideas to them as well. Because it's a community, it's meant for you to actually also meet other people as well who are working on projects that are impactful. So Chalk Value actually is a Singapore-based company that actually sells renewable furnitures, recyclable furnitures using chopsticks. So for each furniture that you sell, they're actually made of chopsticks, and you can actually count how many CO2 saved by actually if you are supporting or if you are using the chopstick based furnitures as compared to normal ones. So based on their requirement, when we talk to them, their requirement is actually for the challenge for this bootcamp is to build a chatbot that can educate people about social impact of upcycling. I think education is important, education first. And secondly, promote Chalk Value products as much as possible as a possible solution to take part into the upcycling movement. So just to share some ideas that I have in mind as well when talking to them. I think right now lots of like furnitures might not be environmentally friendly, and the most important part for both AI4IMPACT and Chalk Value as well is to raise awareness about upcycling first, because at the end of the day, if more people are aware of this, I think it will make basically our Singapore a better place, and we can also support the environment. We can actually reduce the waste as well. So their ideal target audience are working adults, 28 to 45 years old, who are looking to introduce sustainability into their lifestyle and homeware. And second is company and position holders looking to incorporate sustainability into their workplace. So these are the problem statement that we received from Chalk Value. So you can actually like you can take a look at their website, and then after this you actually you will be able to form a group, and then to start focus on learning the chatbot first. By the end of like next Sunday, you will be able to submit your first exercise chatbot, and also like select which problem statements you like to solve. So I think at the end of the day, like what we learned, right? What challenges are we going to tackle? What kind of use cases are we going to what we are selecting, so that you are able to apply the chatbots and turn it into meaningful solutions. So the challenge that we see is that there are two sides. Customers have needs, desires, and pain points they need to solve. Sellers or companies like Chalk Value, Urban Origins, and Confetti Snacks, they have actually products or services that may solve the customer needs. But right now there is actually a gap, because right now the transition between customer needs and products, a solution that the companies is selling, there is actually a gap, which means that either customers like need to do their own extra work to find out the solution that match their needs, or the companies need to do extra mile so that their solutions can reach they are able to translate or convey what their solutions can do to solve a certain needs for the customers. So in this challenge, right, like after learning chatbots, after learning what chatbots can do, so what chatbots can do best is actually an education, basically allowing like customers or allowing any users to learn something new on bite-sized, interesting, and more persuasive way. Because how chatbot is formed is actually very conversation based, meaning that you are not overwhelmed with lots of information at once. Meaning that if you are trying to promote a certain cause or certain kind of products or services, or even like just a campaign, right? Using chatbots, you are able to actually convey and personalize your communication, so that instead of just conveying the product, service, or campaign as it is, you are able to actually like construct a communication like communication flow, so that you are able to answer like the customer's need on each phases. So the application for chatbots in this case is that we are looking for in this support local campaign. There are three things. Number one, how can we recommend the right products based on customer needs? How can, for example, like how can Chalk Value furnitures, right, are able to answer the needs of, let's say, book enthusiasts, or let's say if you are for example, I'm just talking out loud. If let's say you have basically you are interested in creating your own, let's say, hamster cage, right? Or if you like animals, right? How can Chalk Value products like actually able to cater like animal enthusiasts, something like that? So that comes from your creativity, that comes from your hobby, that comes from your passion. The second thing is that how can companies provide value to earn customers' trust and relationships? Meaning that right now with the social media, that lots of information floating in social media or even in the internet. I think if companies who are able to provide value at the start have a head start. So in this case, like the challenge for this support local is that how can you unpack what companies' products can do, so that when users actually interact with your chatbots, they gain valuable information. Not just you are trying to sell a product, but they gain valuable information on how to apply those products to solve their needs. And the third one, I think this is where the data analytics come from, because we also see that even a lot of companies, big or small, more and more are becoming data driven. That means that they are more and more they're becoming more reactive to customer needs, and then they want a real-time system, so that each time they are able to understand like what the customer, what they want, the new trends, and are able to provide solution that fits their needs. So chatbots can do that with data collections. So the challenge is that how can companies identify unaddressed needs that can benefit the customers greatly? So they are win for the users or for the customers. They are also wins for the companies as well. And this is what we are hoping to achieve throughout your experience in this bootcamp. And yeah, so in summary, the challenge is that to build an advisory chatbots that can provide personalized product recommendation based on user needs. I think there are also some questions as well from the audience that if I have my own projects, right, am I able to participate in this bootcamp? The answer is yes, you are possible. It's possible for you to come up with your own projects. So what we have is that we have three categories based on 3 different problem statements, and there's actually an open category where like we will actually select chatbots that select like projects outside the challenge statement that provided by the companies. So during the presentation later on, which I will share with you the timeline, you are actually able to each problem statements actually will invite like you to actually each teams to actually present 2 from problem statement 1, 2 from problem statement 2, 2 from problem statement 3, and 2 from problem statement 4. The number we might have more slots depending on the quality of the chatbots that we receive. So yeah, we have another open category that let's say if you want to apply this learning to your own internal projects, so you are able to do so as well. So yeah, I think what we hope for you is that like for you to achieve is that we are not just learning like technical skills, but also design thinking and soft skills required for building solution that is impactful. Because we identified, like even from our past experience, I think technical skill you might have a very sophisticated chatbots, but if that chatbot doesn't translate to address problems, real world problems, then I think it's quite a waste. So the transition between like understanding the problem statements and then drafting up the requirements and coming up with a simplest chatbot that is effective, I think that exercise is very important as well. So we will actually share with you our design thinking materials as well to identify the users, to come up with the user journey, and then to translate the user journey into conversation flow. So we will share with you later on as well. Yeah, and this is Learn, Do, Impact. So that means that we hope you don't just learn, so you can actually do as well, and then you can actually make impact with whatever you created, because that's what our community has been doing. And in fact, like we are quite surprised that sometimes the underdogs actually create something that creates a biggest impact, because the underdogs sometimes have humility to actually learn something new. So that's a very interesting story that I hope we can unpack as well during the bootcamp as well. So yeah, we are very happy to do this because it's quite impactful. It gives impact, like it allows other people to create a significant impact to others. So it's quite an enriching journey for us as well. So what you will learn, I think there are 3, we separate it into 3 segments. The first one is design thinking, in which like you hopefully by this design thinking materials, you are able to identify the common needs that your target audience has, define your target audience, and then come up with the right conversation flow. So this is for hipster, for those who design the conversation flow. The second one is digital literacy. I think Arnold has explained with you a lot about that, so I won't go through in this in more detail. The third one is data literacy. At least by the end of this chatbot, you are able to actually to have a basic data collection mechanics and have some rooms to analyze the data and transform it into insights. Yeah. So I think many of you have been asking about like some demos, right? Some what chatbots have been created by our communities, right? So I have actually selected 4 chatbots that I believe would be suitable for these support local initiatives. So okay, so this is the first one. It's an advisory chatbot that is meant to help. That's actually created by a first-year student in NTU. And the goal is that to enable more and more to remove stigma about mental health, so that more youth are more they are more interested, or not, they are more open to actually share their mental health issues to practitioners. So this chatbot is run in collaboration with Sengkang Hospital. So Sengkang Hospital actually sent an expert to actually evaluate the chatbots. So what they do is that they realize that lots of youngsters nowadays, they don't want to they are actually quite afraid to go into basically the expert or psychiatrist, right? Because there's a stigma in terms of getting a consultation for healthcare, for mental health. So what they do is that they actually try to understand like their problems, and you can actually select what you want to. They are able to select like which route you like to take. Let's say if you have a if you are not suffering too much, maybe you just want to find out some challenges or daily dose of happiness. But let's say if you think that you want to seek consultations and you don't want to talk to doctor first, maybe you want to talk to this Dr. Setsuko, the one that they provide. So I think they start with two sections, depression and anxiety. But what they do is that before basically before the consultant, the healthcare consultants actually receive the query, they actually insert some kind of like questionnaires so that the users can actually they can somewhat identify a bit about the severity of the mental health issues. So this is one chatbot that is actually being developed by our students. And if you take a look into it, it actually doesn't use like sophisticated technology. It uses simple technology called template matching, but use it in an interactive way and fit so that and the solution fits to the problems. Yeah. So let's say after you answer 5 questions, then okay, there are 6 questions. Yeah. So then the chatbot can give you some answers, and then based on that answers, they recommend the right basically the right solutions, whether you need to go to doctors or not, or maybe you just need to have to read daily dose of happiness. So these are one type of advisory chatbot where they are actually trying to promote more students to come in to seek consultation, but they package it in a way that it's actually more like an advisory. So the users provide some value, they build trust. Then after that, if they really need it, they can actually they are actually directed to a hospital, Sengkang Hospital, to book for consultation. So these are another chatbot as well for different use cases. These use cases actually is for training company. And what they do is that they also want to target like audience who like to gain more, who are looking for better security roles. So okay, this maybe not the FAQ. Let's say if you want to recommend a course, right? Then you can ask questions, and then let's say if you are new to the security industry. So what they do is that like before you actually know what before to allow people to understand the value of taking the courses, you actually they actually highlight the expected salary for the security industry. So that means that before you actually try to promote the products, you actually provide some values to the users first. Then based on that, if they are really interested if they really have a need to get promoted to increase their salary, then you can actually select the right security courses. So this one also is created last year, and we have a collaboration with NTU as well for this. This one is created by NLB audience as well. So I think okay, let me select this one because you can actually see this one actually is being used as an example. So this one is actually a advisory chatbot that can recommend you to the right playground, right? So if you want to explore playgrounds, for example, so you can actually like detect your location, and then you can actually they recommend you the right playground as well, because they believe that for their target audience, which are parents, distance are very important. So instead of just like Googling perhaps in the internet, so they come up with a better way to provide better experience in terms of recommending aerospace park. So this is done by batch 2 audience, NLB participants. Yeah. So it's actually pretty simple, but I think when we the team actually won second prize because it's actually a high utility, and a lot of actually parents need this kind of simple interactive way to display, to actually explore playgrounds and know more about it. So yeah, this is made by parents for other parents. So I think these are like one example that you can do with the chatbots. And it's all on the website. So that means that you can share it on WhatsApp, on Telegram, put it on Instagram, or do whatever you want because it's a link. Yeah. So back to the slides. So what is the timeline for this program? So today is actually 20th of Jan, and right now Arnold has actually shared with you the next lesson plan. And for this week, you may want to start learning on your own or in groups. Preferably, if possible, you already start learning in groups. And I think Arnold has already highlighted what to learn, and I will actually share with you also like design thinking materials, so that when you learn chatbots, you also know how to identify your target persona and then arrange your chat conversation flow in a meaningful way. And next Saturday, there will be a live masterclass. And on Sunday, that's actually your first chatbot submission. So next Sunday, we hope to receive your first chatbot. It doesn't have to be complicated. I think as long as you do the exercise, I think it's more than enough. The point is actually for us to understand your learning progress as well, so we can readjust the learning phase. And by that time, you might want to already have a group and a problem statement you like to select. So that's actually on the first week. On the second week, we will have a self-paced learning as well. And Arnold will share with you like the materials on the community channel on Telegram and Smojo. And on Tuesday, we will have a first chatbot feedback and evaluation. So we are planning to have a live session, but depending on the crowd's availability, we might want to actually give a written feedback instead based on the chatbot that you submitted. And on the Saturday, you have a live masterclass, as Arnold has mentioned. And then on the second round, you submit your second chatbot submission. So what we hope is that each week you actually are progressing as well. You start getting hands-on, you work with teams as well, and then you can see the improvement of your chatbots each week, because we want to prevent like last-minute work, so that by the end of this bootcamp, you have a meaningful learning experience. So the third phase is do. So during do stage, you should already be able to work on your specific problem statement. And then you can actually improve your chatbot based on the feedback that we provide. Sorry, there's a typo. On the 18th of February, there will be a third live masterclass, and Arnold has shared with you the topics. And then on Sunday, that's actually your final chatbot submission. You submit the chatbot link to our Google form, and then based on that, we will actually like display your chatbots as a leaderboard, and we share the leaderboard to the entire group so that all of you can see what others are building. So 19 is technically like the last submission, but actually after 19 you may still be able to modify your chatbots as long as you don't change the chatbot link, the URL link. So on Saturday we have 25 Feb, we will have a finale where we invite 8 to 10 teams from 4 different problem statements: top value, confetti snacks, urban origins, and open category, to present their chatbot solutions in front of judges. Basically, there will be we will actually have industry experts to come in to evaluate your solutions as well. And then based on that, the top 3 teams will receive certificate from us. But I think certificate is the least important in this case. What we hope to learn is that, like, after that, we will actually invite you for our global projects, basically, because we as AI4IMPACT, we are actually handling some international projects as well. For example, with Indonesian government about creating chatbot for racial harmony and religious harmony as well. And we also work with Traveloka as well to come up with tourism chatbot. So we will actually want to invite more batches from Singapore so that you can work with other teams across the world to come up with high quality chatbots. Yeah, so this is a submission link, and yeah, this is about us. I think as you mentioned, like we are in 10 countries right now, but hopefully, I think ultimately what we hope is that every one of you have opportunities to develop some prototypes or chatbot actual working products that can impact not just people in Singapore but also worldwide. So yeah, we are actually looking forward to see your submission as well. So we do have a program for students and universities and also government, but I think I'll explain with you later on if you are interested. Yeah, I think Arnold has already shared with you the technical instructions, so I'll stop my presentation today, and maybe we move on into Q&A.
So just checking, right? Are you able to hear me clearly?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. So sorry to the participants earlier, so I might have been a bit soft. So I just wanted to jump back in onto some of the key instructions first before we move on, because I think it can answer some of the questions that we have. So I'll just share my screen and we can proceed. So the first question that we see a lot is what happened, what if I did not register for this bootcamp, so I haven't received my invite code, or maybe the email didn't come to me. So what you can do is to visit this URL over here, this go.gov.sg/chatbot-lxc-email. Put in your email address and we will collate. And then on Monday or Tuesday, we will be sending out the invite codes to you now. So we'll be collating everything. So please, if you're interested in joining the bootcamp and you want the access codes, please indicate your email address by this Sunday, 29th of January. Yeah, I'll leave this up for some time for anyone to refer to . So another question we get on the technical side is that some participants are having some trouble logging in . So thanks for the tip from the user Aloha Snack, who shared that the username must be all in lowercase. So if you face the issue where you're unable to log in, please try your username in lowercase first, see whether it works.
Just to add to that, Jeremy, after this launch, we will actually open up the communication channel on the Telegram group. So if you have any login issue, you can actually a registration issue, you can just like say it on the group.
And actually, speaking of the Telegram group, you can, if you still have not joined it, please use this QR code to join the Telegram group. It's going to be very useful because all the latest news will be disseminated here. So I will also leave this on for some time. I think this is key if you want to go through this bootcamp and be very on the ball with everything that's going on. Okay, so without further ado, I think we can move to the Q&A. So there are two avenues where you can ask questions via the Pigeonhole. So the Pigeonhole link is in the Telegram group. Actually, I'll just put it here as well. It'll be easier, so you can use it on the right. Or we will also try to skim through the YouTube live chat box and answer any questions that are there. So the first question, maybe for Christian to answer, can I work on my project individually? This is one of the top voted questions.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a good question. The answer is yes, you can work on individually, but we want to warn you that it might not be it's not recommended, because if you work on your own, then there are lots, because in this project you are actually not just building your own chatbot, but making the chatbots visually nice. You also need to design the conversation flow. So the technicalities actually is not the most complicated part in this challenge. It's actually the idea and your ability to understand the problems and come up with right solutions. So that one, even for us, we also whenever we have a project, we try to actually work together, because 3 brains are better than 1, 5 brains are better than 1. So especially if you are working adults, you have a busy schedule at work. So we don't really recommend you to work on it yourselves. And so if you have any, you can actually, if you are looking for a partner, you can actually join the matchmaking group. I will be facilitating the discussion as well, so that maybe at least a majority of you who are in the matchmaking group have form a team. So yes, you can, but it's not recommended.
Okay, great. And I hope this answers the question. So there's also another set of questions. Will the session be recorded? So regarding this, yes, you can revisit the video for this session at this same YouTube link. So no worries if you need to revisit some parts or if you find that you missed out some of the important links, you can also revisit them.
Yes.
So there was also a question in the chat about, my questions on the Telegram group are not answered. So we actually have a main Telegram group that will be answering the questions. It hasn't been open yet So for answering, so that's why you might see that chat is not allowed at the moment. But this will be open after the launch session, so don't worry about it. You can still ask questions after this. It's just that for now we are restricting to these 2 platforms, so that it's easier to refer Okay, so we have another top voted question. Can we build meaningful enough projects just from whatever we learned from this boot camp? Can you share some past examples of projects? So this one, Christian has already shared some projects.
Maybe I think just want to add on that as well. I think coming back, I just want to really highlight again, because we've seen it live. We've done this for the past 2 years in different countries with 10 or 20, I think right now almost 30,000 people. And sometimes the most impactful projects are actually are not the most are not built by the most advanced team, but actually by the teams that come up with simple solutions that address their needs. So one example is that we are actually working with the Indonesian government, with the MOE Indonesia, because in the country itself, I think they really want to promote religious diversity and race diversity as well. And right now, the problem is that for teachers to learn, to learn religious diversity is quite challenging, because many of them only know their own religion, right? I think in Indo there are 6 official religions, and they would like to promote what other religions practice are the other people are doing. So what we do is that we actually get the students, really year 1 students, year 2 students, and even actually 1 working adult as well, to work together in 3 to develop a chatbot for government. So what this chatbot is about is actually called Bhinneka. So Bhinneka means unity in diversity. So it's a term, but what it does is that this chatbot, because it's quite successful, is actually being implemented in 20 different schools. And right now they are actually going to include that chatbot into as a core curriculum for primary school. So these are initially started by a community project, but because they are able to address the customer needs, they are able to showcase that their chatbots have value. That right now that community project becomes basically a de facto technology that is the interactive apps that is going to be used by the Indonesian government itself. So that's number one. The number two that we have also is chatbot for SMEs. Like I think Singapore, like I think the SME, I mean the business are pretty advanced. You have your own website and all that, right? So it's pretty advanced. But in other countries like Africa and Indonesia as well, like they don't have a website, but they are affected by pandemic. That means that because when pandemic happens, zero order. So what our community is doing, a group of working adults as well, they're actually trying to develop chatbots that promotes a certain that helps promote products of these companies affected by the pandemic. It was quite big event as well. We have 1,000 people coming in, and then at the end of the day, like we have around like I think 100 chatbot submissions that actually help increase sales or save costs for these companies who are affected by pandemic. So we are not. It's not. I mean, we don't really publicize on newspaper, but that creates an impact for us for our community, right? Even though they are not from programming background, it gives some inspiration for the community that so that I mean, many SMEs are now trying to learn chatbot as well. So these are the other one. In Singapore as well, we do have projects for mental health, like the one that we show you, right? So I think mental health is a big topic, a huge topic in Singapore. And what we do with NTU students is that they actually come up with, I think that one is just one of the chatbot that's being developed by the groups at that time. We have 20 more chatbots, and that 20 chatbots actually are able to address some issues among youths when it comes to getting some help, consultation help when they have mental health issue. So these are some impacts that we've seen on the ground. We have not quantified yet, but I think it's pretty much quite massive, and typically it's driven with someone who have a basic strong belief or who have strong passion about a particular topic. So it's very community driven, but I think the impacts are quite significant.
Thanks very much, Christian. Okay, so we have a lot of questions. So we will be just picking out some of the main ones. So another key question is a question about the prize, right? So what do we get at the end of this? For part one, will we receive a certificate of completion if we don't make it to the top 3 teams?
Yes. So as long as you submit a chatbot during the finale, we will give you a certificate of completion. But not just a chatbot, but a chatbot that addresses that actually sells that addresses the 3 company needs, or the chatbot that is good enough to sell a product. So we do have some standard as well. I think I will share with you like the judging criteria like on the Telegram group, but we don't give certificate of completion for those who are just copy paste from template and then modify a bit. So there will be some effort required, but yes, if you put some effort, you will receive a certificate of completion.
That's great to know. And I think the second part is, okay, so let's say I make it to the top 3, what's my price going to be? So maybe you can share a bit about the certificate of excellence first.
Okay, so the certificate of excellence is an international one. So we give to any global projects, I mean, any global participants with meaningful impact, basically with good quality chatbots, and then somehow during the bootcamp itself delivers meaningful impact as well. So there are certificate of excellence. I think I mentioned 3 in the slides, but actually there could be more depending on, let's say we have identify 5 chatbots that is of high quality and deliver some impact, then we will give it to the certificate of excellence as well. We will feature those who receive certificate of excellence in our profile community page, which we are now currently building. So it's under construction right now. Yeah.
I see. And just to also add on, NLB on our site, we will also be featuring the top chatbots, showcasing the top chatbots in our library branches lah. So there will be visibility for your work as well, for the excellent work that you guys do. Yep. So we are very excited to see what will come up at the end of this bootcamp. Okay, so another question. Do I need to join a team if I do not intend to submit any project for the competition?
I think that's up to you, right? I mean, because what we provide, I think one of them is the learning experience. But what we hope you actually make use of this bootcamp, right? Like, I think it's not just the learning experience, but the doing experience and the impacting experience as well. So that means that, like, I think you can. I mean, we don't really force you to submit a chatbot at the end, like. But I think what will be useful for you in terms of learning experience as well is the do part and the impact part. Because when you try to do it, when you try to launch it, when you get feedback from the users, right, you will actually learn a whole new level. Sometimes, like sometimes you think of like oftentimes, a lot of people think about advanced solutions. Oh, I need to have a image recognition image for my beauty chatbot, because some of our students actually create a beauty influencer chatbot, beauty influencer bot basically. But so they want to include like image recognition, right? But when they talk to the vendors, when they talk to even like the users as well, the buyers of beauty products, they don't need that, because like the problem is that the image, the camera quality in Indonesia, right, is not so great. So that means that there are a lot of like mistakes as well. But what they need is that I need a personalized recommendation. If I have a skin tone A, what kind of cosmetic should I use? Skin tone B, what should I use? It's not technological advancement. It's a simple engineering with a simple content categorization. So that you can only learn if you deploy your chatbots. I'm really serious, because that's what we hope you to learn. You can learn a lot of interesting stuff, but if you don't apply it, if you don't deliver value, then it's kind of like it doesn't stick. Yeah. So that's my thing.
Okay, great. And okay, so just to go back, because I think we still have a lot of questions about is it too late to join the bootcamp? So just jumping back in, if you still want to join this bootcamp, you will need to leave your email address with us and join the Telegram group. So please scan this QR code to do that. Okay. So another question that we have is actually, I think, something that is quite important lah. Do we own the chatbots that we create? What is the IP like?
Okay, so that's a very important question as well. So let me just explain a bit about, just to give some context, right? So because this one actually is a community-based projects, for this session, for this bootcamp, we want to encourage like community sharing, meaning that like when you build up chatbots, then your chatbots can actually be improved and be worked together by the community after the project ends. So just for this round, this chatbot will be you are using like Creative Commons 4.0, meaning that you own the IP, but you give some you are allowing like other users to actually like build chatbot based on what you create. So these are only for the context of this bootcamp. But after the bootcamp, for example, if you want to build your own projects, right? If you want to, let's say, like do your own projects for your own company, right? That one is not Creative Commons anymore. You can duplicate what you create in this round to do another project. Duplication is not difficult. Like Smojo the platform make it easy for you to duplicate your projects. Then once you duplicate your projects, that project is yours. So only for this context, only for this bootcamp, because this is a community bootcamp. That's why we want to promote like basically Creative Commons, open innovation, just for this bootcamp. But subsequently, number one, I think as our commitment, right, as our goodwill as well, we will not close your accounts after the bootcamp. That means that if you want to apply this using the platform for your own personal use, you can do that. So don't worry. Like your chatbots, the projects will not vanish after bootcamp. You can still use it right now indefinitely at this time. So yeah, that's the first one. And secondly, I think you will learn actually So what happened is that after bootcamp, like the motivated individuals started to assemble, which means that, oh, I know that this chatbot, right, has capabilities A. This chatbot has capabilities B. I have capability C. Then I combine A, B, C together to build better chatbots that they do, which they do it individually at outside the competition. So we want to encourage that. We want to have more Singapore-made chatbots, and these Singapore-made chatbots can be used for the next NLB challenges, also for other challenges in Singapore as well. So right now it's open innovation, but after this bootcamp, it's yours.
Excellent. Okay. So there's also another question about whether there'll be any mentorship on how to monetize money-making chatbots. So I think he's talking about like business models and how to pitch or market services.
To be honest, I think the answer is not during this bootcamp, because there are so many learning points that you have to learn. But I think we have a lot of ideas as well how to monetize. So I think after bootcamp you can always have a cup of coffee and then share on your ideas as well. Because what we see is that I think what we hope to create is opportunity, meaning that someone in Singapore can actually solve problems for other people in other countries as well, in Africa, in Indonesia, in Hong Kong, Kazakhstan, and other countries where we are in as well. And we want to promote that international collaboration community as well. But that monetization will come in, I think, on the case-by-case basis, and after we also understand what you hope to achieve. So not during this bootcamp. I think you learn how to build very good chatbot first. You test it with the right problem statements. But after that, once you build good chatbots, I think you will think about it yourself. You find your own ideas. Oh, I can actually monetize A, B, C, D, E. Yeah. So the idea will come in once you build a good quality chatbots. That's what we also observe as well from our students. Yeah.
Great. Okay, so there's a question regarding commitment lah. So commitment to this 5-week bootcamp. So our participant is asking, is it 5 days a week? How many hours per day is this like flexible e-learning? How much time do I have to spend?
Okay, Arnold, you want to answer on that part?
Well, it's really up to you. I think the we have is the weekly sessions, right? And everything is recorded anyway. Yeah, but I would say that you might require, I don't know, about at least half an hour every day in the night, perhaps, right? To keep current with what we're trying to do. Yeah, so I don't think it's a very heavy commitment. And it's not for 5 weeks, by the way. It's only for, I think, 3 weeks. 3 weeks.
Actually, like the learning phase will be 3 weeks.
Yeah.
5 weeks is inclusive of is the program period inclusive this week.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's actually quite a short time. It's I would say honestly it's about, because on the last week you'll be very busy also with your own stuff, trying to fine-tune your bots and so on. So effectively you're looking at about 3 weeks. So it's very compressed, right? So yeah, so you're looking at about half an hour a day, right? And of course the weekend, at most 2 hours on Saturdays.
Okay, great. I think this is very helpful for especially for those who might be working or having a lot of commitments lah. Okay, so moving on, I think we can move on to some of the more technical questions. So I think we're getting some comments that they are not able to see the files after the download under Learn. I think this is referring to the interface itself. So I'm just wondering whether maybe Arnold can share again that interface on how to download files.
Okay.
I will stop sharing.
Yeah. Let me go in again. Give a second. Okay, I'll do it very slowly this time, yeah? All right, so this is your IDE, right? And you've got one flap here. Let me just close this up. So you go into either the Learn, for example, right? You go CU101, Building Chatbots, click on that. Then click on Download. It should say, well, in this case, I've already downloaded, so you will say You want overwrite? I'll say okay. Remember, overwriting wipes out all your changes, so please be careful doing that. You can do that if there's like some serious error and some bug and you can't really get rid of it, then by all means, wipe it out, right? Okay, so that's done. It's downloaded into your personal folder, right? You can leave this flap open, or you can go to another tab, to the previous tab. Click on File Explorer. There's only 4 buttons here. File Explorer is the one you want. Click on that, and you'll get a list. Well, in my case, I've also downloaded something else from my own account. This is the CU101 that you're going to look for. Okay, so this is where all the learning stuff is. Click on that. So you should see, when you click on File Explorer, this should appear somewhere. Okay, click on that. So it's actually clickable, right? The green means it's a file of some kind, and the blue means it's a folder of some kind. So folders, you can go into it and it'll drill down into it. So here you can see a lot of files. And this is the folder, it's CU101/topics, and then you can see all the files here, right? If you click back here, it goes up one. Okay, and you click back here, it goes up the root. So this is, I'm right now at the top or the root folder. Okay, I hope that answers your question.
Great, thanks a lot, Arnold. So another technical question, or at least along the technical side, I think participants interested in how can a chatbot be integrated into my Squarespace website, or maybe just a website in general, right? Is it possible?
Yeah, of course. So you click on CU101, you go back to main.m. So main.m is like your, well, it's already open here now. And when you publish your chatbot, okay, can you see it gives you a link, a direct link, which you can use, all right? But it also gives you a little snippet of code out here. It says embed your chatbot with this code, right? And it embeds it within an iframe, okay? So the iframe, you can set the CSS for it. You can do whatever you want with it, right? So just copy this, just this iframe. And if you know what iframes are, so okay, if you want to embed anything, you need to know some HTML, okay? So take that and you can then embed it. Or if you have a graphic designer, they can do it easily for you.
Great, thank you, Arnold. Actually, just hopping back to a question on commitment. So I think there's a few comments about not being able to commit to all the sessions because of work commitments lah. So is it okay if, let's say, they miss 1 or 2 sessions, or they can't attend all of these sessions, and because these sessions are recorded, so will they be, even if you watch it after the live stream itself, is that okay?
Absolutely. So I think the important part is not so much the sessions, the timing of the sessions, right? We live in a modern world right now. It's asynchronous, right? We teach people in the other side of the world as well. It's not a problem, right? So my point is that you actually do view the sessions, and the most important thing is to actually complete the exercises for that session. That's the main thing. Okay, so completing the exercises, the homework, is actually pretty important. And you can do all of that offline. Now, if you're working in a group, then you have to arrange your group, what goes where, and, maybe you want to learn in a group as well. It's helpful.
Understand. So it's actually very flexible. And on this note, can participants are asking, can we use a tablet for this? So do I have to use a computer?
You don't have to use a computer, but I'm not sure. I've heard of some rumors that some of our stuff doesn't work on tablets, especially, I think, one of the latest iPads. But you have to check it out. I think in most cases, I've tried it on my phone. It works on my phone. So actually, you can do this on your phone, right? So we have students in some parts of the world, and they use their phones to actually run the programming. I'm not sure how they do that, but apparently it's possible, right?
I see. On a related note, can the editor be done offline, or is it purely online?
Okay, right now, the editor itself is completely online only. But we're actually working on a version where the chatbots can be run offline, right? But the IDE has to be done online because it stores your files and everything else.
I think just to add on as well, like we really want to make sure your file is very, very, very secure as well. So I mean that will help us like ensure that. So just to give that additional.
Great, thank you. So I've also received a question about what is the recommended minimum age to do this. So generally speaking, this program is actually meant for older learners lah. So our recommendation by NLB on our site is actually 15 and above. Yeah, so you can just take note on this lah. But of course, if you're younger and you're able to guide your child, I think it's okay to attempt as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think just to share as well, like our youngest chatbot developer, I think nine years old. Our oldest one is 7. Well, who did the teacher? I think around 65, 70 years old. Yeah, and he solo create chatbots on his own, so it was quite amazing. But he's quite enthusiastic about technology. So yeah.
My son is 11 years old and he's done not just the chatbots, but even more difficult stuff like games, right? So he's got a homepage, I think his name is Joshua. You can check his community page. He's got a game up there and he built that himself. So if it's possible for him, I think for most people it's okay. All you need is a lot of patience. Okay, so it's not I don't think it's a technical issue anymore right now. I think it's merely a patience issue. You have to be very patient with yourself and work through the exercises patiently.
So there's also a set of questions that is more relating to what will the content be in the later weeks. So for example, one of the questions is about whether we'll be learning about AI recommendation systems in current weeks. So maybe we can go back again to sort of show a rough outline of what participants will be learning through this program.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll just outline it for you, right? So we won't be doing recommender systems. Recommender systems are actually not too bad, right? In essence, a recommender system would be things like, can you do similarity matching, for example, let's say between a person's question and something that they want to, something in your database, right? So we won't be doing similarity matching in our conversation, right? But in a way, it can be a recommender system in the sense that if you know what your user wants, for example, and you never on the topic, then of course you can recommend stuff to the user based on a Q&A process, right? So what we do is you can develop chatbots where through Q&A, where you interact with the user, for example, with a Q&A process, and then that will then you get certain metrics about the user, and then you can make a recommendation for the user. That is definitely possible. And we'll show you. In fact, it's actually one of the exercises, I think, in session 5, that's right, on memory and so on, right? And so if you want others, there's a lot of other material actually, which I'm not going to cover individually. If you want to have pointers to these other materials, then just let me know in the Telegram group. And I think Chris or myself, we can just point you to the right video. And there's definitely, or even the right community project. There's tons of community projects and they've done all sorts of stuff. Okay, so we don't directly cover this recommender systems, but you can build them yourself.
Thanks, Arno. There's also another question about whether we are restricted to using the template-based approach throughout these 4 weeks.
Well, you are not, but I would recommend it because it's simple and it's fast, but you are not. You can actually use one of the examples. You can use, like I said, we'll also be teaching you how to use GPT-3, right? But there are drawbacks to those things as well. So everything's got a pros and cons, right? The GPT-3, for example, has got lag time because it's a free link. For example, first you need to register for an account. The link is a bit slow, right? So that takes some time. Now, if you want to, you can actually roll your own similarity matching system if you want to. Okay, and if you're interested in that, just let me know. I'll give you some pointers on how you can do that. But it's not explicitly included as an exercise. So you're not restricted. It's just that we recommend that you follow this path because it's painless and fast. And honestly, the big hurdle, that's what Chris is saying again and again. Please take note. It's not the technical aspects anymore. We have simplified the technical aspects to almost, honestly, a child could probably do it. The problem is in the creativity that you bring to bear to the problem to make it interesting, engaging, That's tough. That's really hard, actually.
Thanks, Arno. Okay, so I think we are running short on time. So I will skip past some of these questions. But if you still need the answers to some of your questions and it won't cover it here, you can drop a message in the Telegram group once the chat opens. But I think this is a question that probably is quite important. One, for a person without programming knowledge, can we really complete this bootcamp?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Hmm.
If you have no programming experience, absolutely you can. But like I said before, you have to be patient. In fact, I feel in our experience so far, I think those with some programming or extensive programming experience might actually find it harder, because the style of programming that we are using for this chatbots, for these template matching, is called declarative programming, which is not a common form of programming. Most people use something called imperative programming, or sorry, procedural programming, right? So it's quite different. So that's why people stumble. A lot of programmers actually stumble. So if you don't know anything, you're a blank slate, that's great. It's probably easier for you.
Thanks, Arnold. I think this answers the question very nicely. So I think also some participants are asking about the examples lah. So is there a public access platform where they can access it? So maybe we can show them again where they can see the examples of past chatbots, such as the NTU chatbot.
Post those on the Telegram groups, guys. Don't worry.
Okay, so don't worry about links. Everything will be made available there lah. Okay, so I think moving on, there are also some questions about the next step. So I think this is a good place to segue and perhaps end this session. So just so that participants are clear, what would the next immediate step be?
Okay, so I've already told you what the homework is. The homework session in this video, you can, okay, first of all, I will send you the slides for my little talk on the Telegram group, okay? As soon as the Telegram group becomes open, the slides will be available. But you will also be able to access this video, I think, for forever, right?
On the YouTube link. Yeah, on the same YouTube link. Yeah.
Yeah. So go to the end of my talk. I give you a piece of about all the homework that needs to be done. Just follow those steps. Okay, it should be pretty clear. If it's not clear, please ask questions on the Telegram group, and we'll answer that straight away.
Okay, I think just to wrap up as well on my end, for the next step for this week, for next week, number one, first get yourself registered first on Spojo. If you have any issue, please, I think you can also DM us on Telegram. So that's number one. Number two, form a group of 3 to 5. Use the matchmaking group to introduce one another. I think you guys have, I mean, the communities have done very well to self-organize. I'm very happy for that. Thank you so much for helping us. So you can follow the community leaders to self-organize, to organize yourselves. That's the second one. The third one is to do homework and submit your first chatbot by next Sunday, 11:59 p.m. So that's the 3 steps that you need to do for the next step. Yeah.
And don't worry about how to submit and so on. Chris will send you links and instructions for that, right? I just want to add one last thing about the groups. Please join a group. It really enhances your learning experience. Really, you make a lot of friends, right? That's the whole point of this. This is called learn X community.
Yeah.
You got to come out, and join somebody else from across the island, right? And have fun. All of our participants in the past, when they form groups like that, they form friendships. It's fun for them. Don't learn alone. It's very painful, right? Not because it's hard, but because it's just lonely, right? You get people's ideas when you book in a group. It's fun. And when you present in a group later on also, it's much more fun as well.
And it's a great networking opportunity, I imagine, and opens a lot of opportunities for you in future too. So yeah, do join the group. And there's also a matchmaking group there, just to reiterate, and the link is also pinned in the Telegram group. So if you can't find it, just go to the main Telegram group and then look for the pinned message. Okay, so I think with this, it's already 1 minute to 5. So just to conclude, thanks everyone for coming today. Thank you, Christian and Arnold, for this really enriching introduction to the platform, to chatbots. And I'm really eager to see what our participants in this bootcamp will come up with through this challenge. And also thank you to our partner companies, to Urban Origins, to Top Value SG, to Confetti Snacks for coming in on this program. And I hope that we'll be able to develop chatbots that are really useful and engaging and functional and meaningful and really serve business functions well. Okay, so with this, I think just any last words from our speakers here?
You're good, Jeremy. Like, we are looking forward for your creation. So very excited to meet you all again next week.
Absolutely.
Great. Yes. So for any news, once again, you can refer to our Telegram chat. So this is where you will see most of the latest news lah. So do get on that. So thank you so much once again for coming today, and I think we can proceed to close this call. So thanks everyone for coming.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye, and have a great evening ahead.
Okay.